from KTFS.
This is the voice of freedom on Freedom 107, where conservatives come to get the latest in current events, the news of the day, and interviews with the ones making the news. You can be a part of the conversation at 903-793-1071. And now, the voice of freedom with Jeff Aiken on Freedom 107.
It is 7:06, 6 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Wednesday morning. Good morning. This is the voice of freedom on Freedom 107. 47 degrees in the Arklatex with sunshine. It's going to be another freedom-loving day in the Arklatex. Joining us on the phone this morning, David Mutto of the Texas Tribune. Good morning, David. Thanks for joining the voice of freedom.
Thank you for having me again.
Excellent. We talk to you every Wednesday, kind of get an update on what's happening in our state's capital. What is the hot item going on in Austin right now?
Yeah, so I guess we actually have a lot of hot items. We're sort of coming down to the wire this session. It's sort of hard to believe, but the session ends Memorial Day, so we've just got about, I guess, just over 3 weeks until the end of it. So we're seeing a lot of activity going on right now. Some interesting things, just to name a few, that happened yesterday, for instance. The House approved the sale of these Choose Life license plates. These are this has come up before. They're these sort of politically charged anti-abortion license plates that raise money for adoption services, things like that. There was also a bill that passed yesterday that would allow employees to stow guns in their cars while at work. Sort of interesting. And then there's another bill passed yesterday that would seek to help schools deal with bullying. So we're sort of seeing a lot of action as we sort of get closer to the finish line.
Yeah, it is kind of funny that, during the first part of the session, there were several days, if not a couple of weeks there, where basically nothing was happening. Then all of a sudden, things got in gear, and now it seems like there is activity every day, all day long. I've got a couple of friends in the Texas House, and they're telling me that they're getting up at early in the morning, they're working all day, even sometimes into the night, and there have been times they go after midnight.
Yeah, these debates can sort of stretch on all day. Sometimes, I mean, we've seen debates go on until almost, I think, 3 a.m. some nights around here. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of activity like that. We're also seeing, and what we should expect to be seeing in the coming weeks, is legislators trying to pass these bills. In some instances, trying to pass these controversial bills, and they're doing this in some cases by trying to attach these onto other bills that are likely to pass. So we actually saw this yesterday in the Senate. There's this controversial campus carry law that would let Texans carry guns on the campuses. The Republican sponsor of that doesn't have the votes, so yesterday he tried to attach this bill to this more popular bill sponsored by a Democrat. The Democrat didn't like that, so she withdrew it.
Huh. Now, I'm reading something on TexasTribune.org. It says Senate Finance Chairman Steve Ogden tried and failed to get 20 state senators to vote with him on a proposed state budget yesterday. On Wednesday, today, he's going to see if he can find 15. The Bryan Republican is trying to get enough Senate support to pass a budget, and if he has his druthers, to put him in a strong negotiating position when the Senate and House sit down to reconcile their very different budgets later this month. What are you hearing about that? Are we going to be close to getting a budget deal done, or will we have to go to a special session for the summer?
I mean, I think a special session is looking likely, just because of the sort of pace at which things are going right now. This is an interesting thing, though. Like you said, he's looking for 15 votes. So in the Senate, normally you need two-thirds of a vote a two-thirds vote to bring a bill to the floor. So in the Senate right now, that's 21 votes. Ogden only has 19 for this budget right now. So yesterday we got word that he's going to try to use this weird sort of crazy loophole in the Senate rules that say that on Wednesdays and Thursdays, only a simple majority, which in this case is 15 votes, is required to pass bills that have come out of the House. It's very sort of convoluted and very odd. And the two-thirds rule is already sort of pretty odd. But, so he might get this bill out of the Senate, so yeah. we'll just have to see where it goes from there.
It's kind of weird because the article here says that, let's see, but 2 days a week, House bills come before Senate bills. Wednesday's a House day. That's today. And the budget this year is a House bill. So there will be no hurdle to jump. That means only a simple majority is required to pass Ogden's bill. Very strange, very weird. Of course, the whole 2/3 rule is weird anyway, in my opinion, because in the Texas Senate, unlike the House, you've got to have 2/3 of the folks voting in order to get a bill to the floor, like you said a while ago. Do you think most Texans are aware of these kind of rules and procedures?
I'm guessing probably not, and I think that Ogden is sort of he actually noted that yesterday. He said, I don't think Texans really know or really care about this 2/3 rule. I think they care about getting a budget through, and he's going to try to do that.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting to see if we can get a budget done, because the Senate version is quite different than the House version. Do you think that the House will have to end up tapping into the rainy day fund, or do you think they'll stand strong and not do that?
I mean, that's sort of the debate right now. I think it's looking likelier that the rainy day fund, at least for this part of the budget, will go untapped. Yesterday, Ogden, in part of his negotiations, he dropped one of the provisions that would pool about $3 billion from the rainy day fund. So it's looking like that maybe won't happen after all.
Huh, very interesting. Yeah, I'm like you. The folks that I talk to down in Austin keep telling me, they don't want a special session, but it looks more and more likely every day that we go on here without a deal that we could be facing a special session in Austin. For us, it's a good thing, because for what you and I do, it's good because it means it's going to be in the news even more. But as far as Texans, maybe not so much.
Right. Yeah, and I think Republicans in particular may be worried about this. They're sort of worried that a special session might sort of force these budget woes into the spotlight even more than they are right now. So this would be, it's harmful for everybody, but it's harmful in particular for the Republicans who are sort of having to take the brunt of these cuts.
Yeah. David Mutto, as always, sir, a pleasure talking to you. You can find your work at TexasTribune.org, TexasTribune.org. Very good site you guys have. I appreciate you guys and what you guys do.
Thank you.
It is 7:13, 13 minutes after 7 o'clock. This is the Voice of Freedom on Freedom 107. Coming up, we'll be talking about the National Day of Prayer, Relay for Life. Also, we're talking about a meeting that I had last night in DeKalb, Texas, talking about the proposed tax increase to widen Highway 82. We got plenty to do. This is the Voice of Freedom on Freedom 107. Good morning.
This is Conservative Talk Radio for the Arklatex. Freedom 107. Coming up, more of the Voice of Freedom.